Everybody probably knows about this on this call, entity IDs and Andromeda. If you have the same footage, different hook, is the same entity ID. You hit the same audience and you hit the ceiling. If you have more entity IDs, you have more audiences and you have more waves to serve. So think of this. And I see this way. There is the algorithm, which is a 5-year-old. Like, think of the algorithm, just like it's a complex system, but it's a 5-year-old sitting there. And this 5-year-old is looking at 2 ads simultaneously and looking at, does the ad look similar, visually similar? And if it looks, it gives it the same entity ID. This might be the reason why your ad is not performing, why the second iteration is not performing. So you iterate just the hook. Where's the meme? So the 15 variations that are the same hook with different colors. Wait, they're all the same ad? Yes, they're the same ad. How do you actually iterate the ads? Maybe your ad account has 3 to 5 entity IDs. Actually pulling the ad account, if you see 3 to 5 ads that are visually different and they're pulling the ad account, maybe you have a problem that you should diversify between the entity IDs. The entity IDs, why did Meta actually implement this? My theory is you're scrolling on Instagram and you're seeing over and over the old ad. And then you see another hook. You see like the same ad over, but it's another hook. And you're like so excited that it's another ad. And then you watch the 3 seconds and then you see the rest is again the same. You're going to be more raged. You're going to be more fed up with Instagram than you've been before. How to prevent this? Meta is actually a vendor of our time, or the vendor of our potential clients' time. They wanted to prevent this so people don't rage quit the app. They implemented entity ID. So actually the advertisers try hard enough to make different ads, a different ad variation that look visually different. Because if we're scrolling online, there is a 5-year-old that is saying, is it visually looking different or not? Once you have a winner, iterate it so it performs better. I'm not denying that. But watch out that if you iterate, if you make a duplicate of the ad and you just iterate it and keep both of them, maybe it's not going to perform because the first one is still online, because it's still the same entity ID. They're in the battle of the entity ID. Don't iterate by making more versions of the same ad. Instead, iterate in dimensions, not just variation of the one ad. So what is dimension? Dimensions is, I'm having one angle, so the angle, I have a winning angle. Let's say we stay here with this unique mechanism, the sciatica problem, the SI joint problem, what we described before. And the dimension is, I have a VSL, maybe an authority figure VSL. I make it a UGC. I put the same angle, the same idea, but I put it in as UGC. I make it into static ads. I make it darker, I make it maybe brighter. Maybe, let's say another example, I'm selling Zempic, or I'm selling some fat loss pills, and I see that the winning ad is 10 p.m. cravings and chips. You're showing chips as a snack. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to make the same and maybe dark and with a chocolate. That's a different entity ID. And it's also a snack. I research that people are eating chocolate, whether the American snacking, maybe it's ice cream. I put ice cream next to it. Or I make it an animation, but different looking one. I make it a UGC, like a lady talking about how she's snacking and she can't stop and how then the product that we're selling help. Things like that. This is how I'm iterating in dimensions. If I'm iterating the one winning ad, this is how I see the impact of the thing what you're iterating. So if you're iterating the visual, also in the entity IDs, in the battle of the entity IDs, biggest impact. The visual of the hook, quite big impact. The body script, the voiceover only, big impact. Changing the B-rolls, big impact, and then it goes lower. You can see that, for example, changing the music makes kind of sense, doesn't it? But here it is in a table. Great example from the automobile industry back in the day, Ford versus Toyota, a great American story where Ford's approach was just focusing on creating the perfect car. They spent immense effort on a single model, aiming for a flawless execution. What did Toyota do? Is they just iterated continuously. They made different models. They learned and improved with each cycle, multiple cars. And who won? It was Toyota. This is a lesson for me, for our ads too. There is also a different story of photography students. Two groups, one of them been allowed only to take 10 photos and they had to be the best of the best. And the other ones could take, I think, 1,000 photos. By far, the other group that took the 1,000 photos had better photos because they iterated, they tested more than the group number one. And I'm specifically trying to put examples from other industries where this worked so we can disconnect from our advertisers' mind. Quality and ideas of rapid iteration will consistently outperform